It began as a joke, a careless challenge from a woman who thought she had the upper hand. But the moment his fingers touched the keys, she realized she had just underestimated the wrong man. A stormy city skyline through the glass walls of a top-floor office. Lightning flashes briefly illuminate a grand piano in the corner. A powerful young CEO sits behind her desk, smirking, as a janitor with a mop pauses mid-step. Isabella Carter's name carried weight, not just in her company, but across the city's skyline, a skyline she practically owned. At 32, she'd climbed to the top faster than most men twice her age, earning her the nickname the Queen of Glass Towers. Her office was a monument to success. Italian leather chairs, shelves lined with awards, a panoramic view of the city, and in the far corner, a glossy black Steinway grand piano she rarely played. Late that stormy Tuesday night, she was alone in the building except for the night cleaning staff. She didn't care to learn their names. They came and went like background noise. That's when she noticed him. Tall, quiet, early 40s maybe. The janitor. His name tag read Ethan. She had seen him before, always working silently, never making eye contact. Tonight, though, as he moved his mop bucket past her office, she caught him glancing toward the piano. "Do you play?" she asked sharply. He froze, looking embarrassed. "Not anymore," he said. "Not anymore? That sounds like an excuse." He gave a faint smile. "It's not." That's when she leaned back in her chair, eyes glittering with challenge. "If you can play Chopin, I'll marry you." She smirked, certain the man in front of her couldn't even read sheet music. For a moment, she thought he would laugh it off. Instead, Ethan walked slowly to the piano, pulling the bench out with deliberate care. He flexed his fingers, hands, rough from years of manual work, the kind of hands you'd expect to scrub floors, not coax music from ivory keys. Then, he began to play. It was Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major, and it was flawless. The notes didn't just sound perfect. They felt perfect. They lingered in the air, dripping with something raw and unfiltered. Longing, grief, love. Outside, rain hammered the glass. Inside, Isabella's heartbeat slowed to match the rhythm. She wasn't just hearing music. She was being pulled into someone's soul. When the final note faded, she realized she was holding her breath. "Where did you learn that?" she asked softly, almost afraid of the answer. Ethan's eyes stayed on the keys. "I was a pianist once. Concert halls. Competitions. My fiancée was my biggest supporter. We were supposed to perform together at our wedding reception." But he stopped. "But," she pressed gently. "The fire," he said. "Her apartment. I wasn't there in time. She didn't make it. After that, I stopped playing." Music was hers. For the first time in years, Isabella didn't know what to say. She, the woman who could negotiate billion-dollar deals, found herself silenced by a janitor's truth. In the days that followed, something shifted. Isabella, who normally left the office by 6, began working late. Not for the spreadsheets or contracts, but for the quiet moments when she'd hear the distant sound of Ethan wheeling his mop bucket, followed by the hesitant lift of the piano lid. Some nights he played Chopin. Others, pieces she didn't recognize. And sometimes he played something so hauntingly personal that she swore no one else had ever heard it before. Those nights, she sat with her eyes closed, letting the music strip her of her armor. 3 months later, her company's annual charity gala was underway at the Grand Royal Hotel. It was a lavish event. Gowns, champagne, investors from 3 continents. The entertainment for the night was supposed to be a renowned pianist from New York, but 15 minutes before the performance, disaster struck. The pianist's car broke down an hour away. Isabella's assistant panicked. The schedule was in chaos. Guests murmured impatiently, and then she saw him, Ethan, in a borrowed black suit, helping unload supplies at the back. "Ethan." She walked toward him quickly. "I need you to play." Minutes later, under the golden glow of the ballroom's chandeliers, Ethan sat at the piano. When his hands touched the keys, the room fell silent. Chopin's Ballade No. 1 poured out, swelling with power and tenderness. Waiters froze mid-step. Conversations died mid-sentence. People leaned forward, drawn into something they didn't understand but could feel. Isabella stood at the edge of the stage, eyes fixed on him, fighting the urge to cry. When the final note faded, the applause was deafening. She took the microphone from the announcer, her voice steady but warm. Months ago, I made him a promise, one I thought was a joke. Tonight, I'm keeping it. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Ethan's brow furrowed. She walked to him, leaned down so only he could hear, and whispered, "Not because of the challenge, but because you played my heart, and I can't forget the sound." Long after the gala ended, they found themselves back. In her office, rain tapping softly against the glass. Ethan sat at the piano again, playing something slow, something just for her. Isabella leaned against the window, shoes kicked off, letting the music wrap around her like a promise, and for the first time, the Queen of Glass Towers didn't feel alone in her castle.